Dugi's guide is also the first and only in-game guide that supports leveling using the Dungeon Finder. World of Warcraft is a massively multiplayer online game. The game is designed for you to interact and work together with other players, and the worst problem that have plagued leveling guide for years is that it doesn't support leveling in dungeons. Did you know that players are able to enter a dungeon and get massive rewards in almost all levels, but most players who use leveling guides often don't enter any dungeons until they're at least level 80. This is because in the past it was very difficult to look for 4 other players to complete the dungeon with. Your time will be wasted when you can keep solo questing instead. This is no longer a problem ever since Blizzard introduced the Dungeon Finder system in patch 3.3. Now the system will automatically find a group for you and teleport you instantly into the dungeons. All that is great, but what about the dungeon quests? There are plenty of quests for every dungeons that you enter. Standard leveling guides are always designed to get your character from level 1 to 80 solo. So in fact, all leveling guides that you will find on the market today will steer you away from dungeon quests, which is probably why most players who use leveling guides are skipping doing dungeons altogether. With the Dungeon Finder system today, there is absolutely no excuse not to do these dungeons, because here are the benefits that you will get. You will get the fastest experience gain per hour. Leveling with 4 other players means you will be killing monsters non-stop with the help of your group. There are very little downtime, and elite monsters will give you more experience as well. You will get to complete dungeon quests. Dungeon quests provide you double experience points. Because dungeon quests are considered more difficult by Blizzard, so they have increased the reward to encourage players to enter dungeons. So completing 4 dungeon quests, for example, is almost like completing 8 solo quests. You will also get better rewards. Dungeon quests often provide you with the best rewards in the games for your level. Solo quest rewards are rarely as good. You will get the best item for leveling. You should never put up leveling with green quality items anymore. You get to experience every aspect of WoW. The dungeons are a huge part of WoW, and playing in the dungeons as you level up is an important part of mastering your character for later levels. You will also get to experience the thrills of battling unique monsters and bosses. You get to play as a group. Even if you don't know how to play or complete the dungeon, it is likely that someone else in the group will. But with the help of our guide, you should also know what to do. And of course you get to have more fun. Playing the dungeons means you're exploring every part of World of Warcraft, and grouping together and killing tough bosses in the dungeons is the best part of the game. If you're one of those players who haven't done much of the old dungeons, now is the best time for you to get this guide. You will get to experience the rich storyline and gameplay the way it was originally designed by Blizzard. And when Catalysm comes, a lot of these classic dungeons may disappear, and it could be too late for you to experience them. Now is also the best time to level new old characters, because once Catalysm arrives, everyone will have to start fresh again, as everyone will need to get new gear at level 85. So your old characters won't be far behind gear wise. That's great, but there's still a big problem on how to get these dungeon quests, because without dungeon quests you'll miss out on massive amount of experience and rewards, which is very inefficient. And doing dungeon quests are also less fun without quests. You really need quests while you're in there to make it twice as rewarding and twice as fun. Our dungeon guide is designed to work as a standalone leveling guide. You won't be able to use the Dungeon Finder until you're at least level 15, but we recommend you begin at level 16 because you need to train your important class skill at level 16, such as taunting for tanks, to make it easier. The path that you will take is different than our leveling guide, because you will need to also complete the prerequisite quest for your dungeon quest at the same time. When you reach level 16 with our dungeon guide, you should have a quest log full of dungeon quests and you'll be ready to enter your first dungeon. Each guide is separated by different dungeons, so you can easily pick and choose any dungeon that you want and begin following the guide to complete the prerequisite quest and pick up your dungeon quest before you enter each dungeon. While you follow our simple step-by-step guide, you will see an instruction with the dungeon eye icon for you to zone into the dungeon. And now it's time to queue up with the Dungeon Finder, and finding group usually takes less than 5 minutes. It is faster if you're a tank or a healer. Another big problem that we face is that the Classic and Burning Crusade dungeons doesn't contain any map, which make it very difficult if you're in there for the first time. Again, we have set another standard for in-game guides by including a detailed dungeon map for Classic and Burning Crusade dungeon. That's for level 1 to 70. The Wrath of the Lich King dungeons already contains maps by Blizzard and also quest tracker. You can also minimize the map, and an extra button will appear for quick reference, which should come in very handy. When you follow our guide, you will enter each dungeon loaded with dungeon quests, ready to be completed, and with the help of our guide and map, you will finish the dungeon with lots of completed quests ready to be turned in for massive experience boost and item reward. Dungeon quests often reward double the amount of experience versus a solo quest, so completing 5 quests in dungeon is equivalent to completing 10 solo quests. There are a lot of bosses to kill in each dungeon for awesome blue items. With each boss kill, there's a good chance that you will get an upgrade. And the trash monsters will also have a high chance to drop valuable green items and gems that you can sell in the auction house later for lots of gold. So for the first time ever, you can be over-geared for your character's level and be able to complete really tough quests on your own. The items you can get sometimes is better than heirloom items for its level. You can enter a PvP battleground and completely dominate other players because you have the best items. You will also get extra achievement points for running dungeon as you level up. Here's a quick rundown of what you will get with our dungeon guide. Our dungeon guide also used the latest Dugi's Guide V4 add-on. For the complete feature demo, play the feature video below this page. The dungeon guide will contain level 1 to 16 leveling guide. The questing route that you take with our dungeon guide is different than the standard leveling guide because we take you through the quest line that will give you the dungeon quest by the time you reach level 16. From level 16 onward, there will be a dungeon quest guide that will cover every character level. The dungeon guide also includes a detailed dungeon map that will help you complete your quest. The dungeon map that is provided will cover the Classic and Burning Crusade dungeon. The Northern dungeon already contain built-in map by Blizzard. Our dungeon quest guide is as detailed as our leveling guide. It contains step-by-step instruction for your traveling and flight points as well. Dugi's dungeon guide will also come with 2 awesome bonuses. The first is our in-game talent guide, which contains multiple leveling talent builds and multiple PvE and PvP build for level 80. It will also contain our special class gear guide. This guide shows you where to find the best gear for your character. Appropriate gear selection is very important as you level up. Our guide will show you how to gear your character as a healer, caster, a melee DPS or tank. With this guide you can plan in advance what items you want to get and know instantly where to get them. Remember, you can test Dugi's Guide V4 by entering your email address below and you will receive it with the free 1 to 40 leveling guide. Or you can purchase our guide right now. Just click the add to cart button down below and you will gain instant access to download our complete guide. We conducted a test to see whether dungeon leveling is faster than solo leveling by using a side-by-side comparison of 2 different characters of the same level. And this is the result. Dungeon grinding alone is by far the worst way of leveling up, but if you combine that with quests, it is the fastest way to level, even faster than solo questing. You can watch the full video of this test down below this page. But that's not all. You also have the chance to get the best gear for your character every time you enter a dungeon. Both characters in this example is at the same level, but the character on the left have been leveling through the dungeon and as you can see, her gear is a lot better. So from the proof that I've just shown you, leveling in dungeon is the way to go. Never settle for a leveling guide that only supports solo leveling. And what we have here is a true guide for Recruiter Friend and Heirloom, as you can easily pick a dungeon that suits your level and run with it.